Hi guys, Darth Deuces here, back on the Star Wars The Vintage Collection action figure review. Today taking a look at the recently released new Bad Batch Clone Commander Rex from the Bracca mission, slash just a Clone Wars Captain Rex, because that's pretty much exactly what this is. They're exactly the same, the armor's exactly the same from his Clone Wars appearance and his Bracca mission appearance. But I guess they decided to make it a Bad Batch card back just because we've already had a Clone Wars card back in TVC already, which I will actually show and compare. But yeah, finally have maybe a definitive Captain Rex in 3 1/4 inch. We'll see. I think I can already tell. I think this figure maybe could still have a little bit of improvement potentially. But been waiting a long time for this. I know there are pictures floating around of a Rex that was supposed to come out years ago, I think, that they were going to do that never happened. So it's nice that we finally kind of got that anyways. But yeah, take a quick look at the figure on the card back first. Pretty nice card back. I like the image. Pretty good image of Rex there from the show. I do find it interesting that with the animated characters that are made realistic in this line, they used to do like realistic interpretations on the card backs. It seems like they're just not bothering doing that anymore and just taking pictures from the direct media they're from, which is fine. But I kind of liked it when they did kind of realistic mock-ups for the card backs. But that looks pretty good. Figure there again, a little write-up if you want to read that. Not too much else to talk about. Really quickly, I will compare it with the old Clone Wars. You'll have to forgive me, this is a little dusty. I haven't touched it in a while, but here it is with the first single carded Clone Wars TVC Rex they did. And yep, both pretty cool. The one over here was a mock-up. This is not like an image from the show or anything like that. I still like this card back quite a bit though, actually. I think it looks pretty nice. But yeah, that is that. But there's not too much else to talk about, so I'll crack this guy open and we'll take a closer look. All right, I got Rex out of the packaging. It is a pretty cool figure, and I would say overall it is probably the best 3 3/4 inch Rex they have made so far. But I do think there is still room for improvement. I don't think they've quite nailed down yet. There's some weird things going on in some spots, some things I think they can still improve on here. But overall, still really solid. But taking a closer look and the head sculpt, I will say I do think this is one of the best Tamira likenesses in 3 3/4 inch so far. All of the clone head sculpts I feel like they've been like kind of based all on the same sculpt, and just they make minor tweaks to the mold when they want to do different hairstyles and whatnot. But Rex feels kind of significantly different to the others. I feel like he's closer to Tamira than some of the others are, maybe. I don't know. It feels like they kind of scaled down the Black Series sculpt and used it here. And I really like that Black Series sculpt. I think that one's also one of, if not the best, Tamira likeness they've done in that line as well. But it looks really good. The print is clean, if it wants to focus. Here's his hair there, the accurate hairstyle this time, and he has the little cut where he had the chip taken out, which is a nice little detail. That looks pretty good. It does have this pauldron. It is just a loose floating piece, and the hole is massive, so it flops around every which way. It is pretty easy to take off, of course, and I think he did actually have this look at one point in the show. But flopping around like this is pretty annoying. I'll be honest, I'll probably end up gluing this down just to keep it in place, because it's just kind of annoying, if I'm being honest. It's kind of big though. I don't mind it. I don't mind the pauldrons being big, but it does kind of look like pretty big. But the blue striping there, it looks pretty good for the most part. He does have all the little kill marks and tally marks and whatnot. Got some paint detail there on the back. More blue, more tally marks. You got the fuse lines there on the side of the torso, which look nice, although it would have been cool if they were sculpted details. Belt, and actually this whole groin armor piece is actually all a separate piece, which is interesting, as you can see. So that's kind of interesting. And you do have a soft goods comma. It does have the blue trimming there. It is really dark, so it's a little hard to see, but it is there. But that's nice. It looks decent enough, and it allows for full range of movement. And you've got the legs, got more tally marks. These are pretty cleanly applied. And you got the knee, blue on the knee there, and there's not much else going on. Otherwise, it's the new clone mold, just modified a bit and repainted. But obviously that makes sense to reuse the mold. Articulation wise, you do have a dumbbell joint in the neck. He actually looks up quite a bit. Looks down just a little. A bit of pivot, rotation. Shoulder hinges, the shoulder pads are soft and will move out of the way. Single hinge at the elbow do move a bit past 90 and they rotate. And then for some reason, he has an up and down hinge at the left wrist, but has in and out at the right. So this is really weird. One, they should just both be in and up and down. He's a dual pistol wielder. The in and out hinge is literally useless. And then two, the mold this reuses, the newer clone mold, has the right-handed up and down hinge. So why they decided to make this one in and out on the right hand makes just no sense to me. I don't know what the logic was there. So that's a little weird. I don't really like that. It does have the torso joint. It goes up, back a bit, crunches forward just a little, just a little bit of pivot, and then you do have rotation. The new style hip joints, he kicks up really far, splits easy. There's a swivel cut hidden at the armor there, which is nice. Single hinge at the knee goes 90, and then you've got a hinge at the ankle that goes up a fair amount, down a lot, and ankle rocker for pivot. So it is the best articulated 3¼ inch Rex by a mile, and overall is pretty good. I just wish like this wrist hinge on the right just makes no sense. I don't know why they did that. But in terms of accessories, it doesn't come with a ton of stuff, but enough, I suppose. I do have his two pistols, of course. I wouldn't be Rex with the two pistols. They are very tiny. I would even almost argue they might be slightly undersized. They're just cast in a black or dark gray. It's a little hard to tell, but they're sculpted nicely. And of course, you can hold them. You get the trigger finger in there. The pauldron literally fell off. So yeah, definitely going to be gluing that in at some point. Probably when I'm done this video. But yeah, you can hold the pistols. Looks pretty good, you know, as you'd expect. Then he does have an interchangeable helmet sculpt instead of a removable helmet, which I think looks decent. I'll be honest, I don't think it's actually the best looking. Like, I think they still need to do some work to get this this design down pat. I don't know what it is. It just, I don't feel like they nailed it here. Sculpt wise, the paint detail is real nice. The jag eyes look good. The tally marks and the blue and everything. I just don't know what it is. There's something about the overall sculpt I just feel they just kind of missed the mark on. I also do think it is a little on the small side. It's not as bad as previous figures, but I still think it's a little on the small side. Also, I'll be honest, I kind of wish this was just a removable helmet accessory and not an interchangeable helmet. I know a lot of people want to go for more interchangeable helmets, and for some characters it definitely makes sense, but Hasbro has shown they can do removable helmets that are scaled properly and can fit over heads. Usually it is with characters that don't have a lot of hair, so Rex I think would be a good one that they could have gotten away with. But like characters like Pre Vizsla, that helmet I think sculpt is like near perfect, and it's a removable helmet accessory, not an interchangeable head sculpt. So yeah, I don't know, personally I do wish this was a removable helmet, as long as they would have done it right. Because even here, with it being a swappable head, I don't think they nailed it. But let's pop the head off. I don't know how easy or hard this will be. Okay. Okay, it's not too bad, actually. Okay, it's pretty easy to swap. I got the head on there. And yeah, it looks like decent, but yeah, I think it looks too small, honestly. I don't know, you can be the judge, but it feels like the torso, the rest of the body just does look bigger. And maybe the big pauldron maybe is throwing it off a bit. But I think the helmet sculpt looks kind of small. It's not so small where I think it's terrible looking, but yeah, I actually will probably display my Rex with this unhelmeted head sculpt on, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I don't know. But we can do some comparisons because there is quite a bit to compare to. I don't have every Rex ever, but I do have a decent number, a good little handful of them anyways. So I guess first off, we'll do the next most recent Rex they released. He did get, and there's another Bad Batch TVC release in that 4-pack. They did do him with the poncho on the old 2010 TVC body, which I actually think is still a pretty decent figure. The poncho is actually pretty nice. He has a bit of dust on it. I haven't touched this figure in a while. I actually think this one might have the best helmet sculpt I've seen so far. It's not too small. I think the shape is a bit better. It has this macro binocular attachments that he didn't have. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good. This new Rex definitely has a much nicer, brighter white. This one is actually kind of a darker, dirtier white, or almost off white. I assume this is how it came, but I haven't touched it in a while. I don't think it's yellow damage, but I guess it could be. But I want to just do something real quick here. Here is the old Rex sculpt. It had the inaccurate hair sculpt, but this is like the same, like similar to all the Rexes they've done lately. But if I take the new head sculpt, I just think the new Rex sculpt just looks a lot better. I think that's a major improvement. The skin tone looks a lot nicer. I think the overall look at the head just looks way better. Way more like Tamura. I don't know, you can be the judge on that. I'm actually gonna keep this helmet off because I'm gonna try something here in a second. But there's that figure. Then the other TVC figure, the figure I showed you in the other packaging, this is the Clone Wars single-carded Rex. That was actually a repack of the old 3 3/4 inch Black Series Rex from like 2013 or 2014. And this figure is really weird because it was a newer figure than the old TVC body, but they made a new body that was actually a downgrade. It had no ball jointed torso, no ball jointed hips. The proportions looked awkward. This figure also had a tiny helmet. I think everyone can pretty much agree it had a helmet that was way too small. And this one's a little bigger, but honestly, not by much. It is not bigger by much. So I think they really did, on this new one, fumble a bit on that. I think they figures helmet should have been a bit bigger. But you can see, overall, though, the new one is a better figure. This body is just not it. I don't know what I'll do with this figure. I'll probably keep it, but yeah, definitely a major upgrade from this one. And then here he is with the Clone Wars animation style Captain Rex from the only wave they did in 2013. This is the one that had they included the knee hinges on this one. And I still really like this figure a lot. Again, the articulation not great on this, and obviously it's styled to be the Clone Wars like animation style. But I still really like this one. I think the helmet is one of the best ones. And I think it just looks really good, even if it doesn't really pose as well. And then for fun, I guess, here he is with the Black Series Captain Rex. And I'll actually swap the heads again for this. And this Rex is still one of my favorite Black Series Clone Trooper figures they've done. I think they did such a good job this first time around. Or I guess it's the second time. It was this one has the face printing. But you can see, I think the head sculpts look pretty similar. This one's still like one of my favorite face printing Black Series faces they've done. I think they just did such a good job this first time around. This is one of the first figures to use the face printing. But yeah, this one has the nice weathering on it, which I really like. He's a bit dusty too. He's been sitting on the shelf for a while. But yeah, there's that. I do kind of like the brighter blue, somewhat brighter blue on the TVC. But the Black Series one is still like probably my favorite non-Hot Toys Captain Rex. Speaking of which, just so you can get a sense of what the helmet should kind of look like. Obviously, these are hundreds of dollars in difference in price, but this is the Hot Toys' helmet sculpt. And you can kind of compare here. And yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what it is exactly, but I just feel like this head sculpt is definitely, I think, off a bit. Obviously, I don't expect detail like on the Hot Toys figure, but you can kind of get what it should look like. And then lastly, here he is with the standard Phase 1 white clone. I'm actually gonna pop this guy's helmet off real quick. Take a look at the. This head sculpt's good, but I just think this Rex one is one of the best clone sculpts they've done for 3 3/4 inch. I will say that is its strong point by a mile. But yeah, this one has the wrist joint on the right hand. I don't know why they didn't just use that for this one, but whatever, I guess. But one thing I do want to try real quick is I want to see what the other Bad Batch's helmet looks like on this figure. So yeah, it fits on no problem. And I'm not gonna lie, I like how that looks. I think that size looks way better. Yeah, I hate to say it. I think maybe for this figure, I wouldn't have minded they just reused this helmet and just retooled it a bit so it didn't have the visor on it. I think this helmet looks better. I'm going to be honest. And it fits over the head pretty good for the most part. Maybe make it slightly smaller, I guess, just so it fits a bit better. But yeah, I don't know. I think that looks better. The head sculpt on the new one, by the way, does have a moving rangefinder. I'm curious, how easy would it be to pop this off? Oh, it's pegs. Yeah, never mind. That's not gonna fly. Yeah, probably won't like display the figure like that. I'll just probably keep that helmet on the Poncho Rex because I don't like that head sculpt on that figure. And I'm gonna display this one with the unhelmeted sculpt. But yeah, I think that helmet, honestly looks better on this figure. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a massive fan of this helmet. It's not terrible, but yeah, I think they could have done a lot better. But that is pretty much it. Overall, I think this Rex is a good figure. It does have a lot of upgrades over previous releases, and I do think it is overall the best Rex at realistic Rex at 3¾ inch that we've gotten so far. So if you've been looking for a realistic style, well-articulated 3¼ inch Rex, I would definitely recommend picking up this figure. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. May the Force be with you.